I want to know about that. So that's how y'all actually met at Proper Hop.
We met at Proper Hop.
So,
How about that?
It was, I'll tell you really quick. I was actually on a Bumble date. Like I moved here.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody.
Okay.
And I was trying to naturally meet someone. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And so my friend convinced me to join Bumble. So I was like, all right, God, I'll do this.
Talk to me.
3 things, please. Make this quick, make this painless, and I'd rather have somebody vetted.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how you're going to do this. But but I went on a Bumble date, and immediately he had me park right behind Proper Hop.
Okay.
And we went on a hike. And I knew right then, I was like, this is not my guy, but maybe I'll make a friend out of it. So we went on the hike. And then afterwards, he's like, you want to go to Proper Hop for a drink? And I was like, sure. And when I walked in there and I saw him, I was like, oh, now
That could be my guy.
I don't know if he's
that guy's more my style.
But he's more my
that's
style. And it's funny though, because, you know, I've been in the wrestling world for a long time.
Yes, you have.
And he used to wrestle.
Yeah.
He wrestled for 10 years. So he came up and I introduced myself and he started talking to me. And then we found out that his tag team partner is somebody that I've worked with for 15 years, his old tag team partner. So, which is great. Like you fast forward to when I saw Xavier, was his name. When I saw Xavier, he was like, oh my gosh, you met my boy Patrick. He's awesome. He's great. There's the vetted part.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Make
There's the
you
vetted
look
part.
good.
Yeah, made me
And then we took a
True
picture
friend.
together that day.
Yes.
And he forwarded it to Xavier and he said, hey, she's going to see you next Monday. Tell her we look good together. And so he told me that Monday, he's like, hey, you guys look really good together.
Did you get the picture the same day as the date, the Bumble date?
No,
Oh,
I didn't.
dang it,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. We took
So-
the same day. Oh, yeah.
So after
the
the
guy,
date,
the
you got a
Bumble
picture
guy
of
is the
Patrick?
one that took our picture.
Oh, that's savage.
A sincere thank you to Wellstar North Fulton Medical Center for its sponsorship and for fostering a healthy community where businesses can thrive.
Welcome back to Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud, President and CEO of Roswell Inc. We're your economic development organization here in the city of Roswell, Georgia.
I'm Andy Williams, President and CEO of Visit Roswell, the city's official destination marketing organization charged with promoting tourism throughout the community. An amazing guest we have on today.
Yeah, we do.
Really, this has brought something very cool to the town square area, the historic town square area. We love to see activity there as
For
well.
sure.
And a lot of really cool things coming on the horizon. They're going to further tie in our downtown Canton Street area with town square and further. So really some great opportunity there. But today we have on Patrick and Lilian Ellrich with Proper Hop Taphouse, rather.
Taphouse.
It is a pleasure to have you two on.
Thank you.
Man,
Yeah, thank
what
you guys.
a
Thanks for having us.
neat place. So you've been in the beer business for how long? And
Yeah. Well, you know, at Proper Hop, we're about to hit 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Technically in June, it'll be 4.5 years.
Wow.
It's been, you know, you get your ups and downs, your ebbs and flows
Yeah.
in the hospitality industry.
Mhm.
But, you know, the Proper Hop just kind of came out of my dream to present and serve beer just
Uniquely.
uniquely in the best way with proper glassware. So the
Mhm.
presentation's there. And then everything I do behind the scenes, taking care of my draft system. So I do all my draft line maintenance. I still do that all myself. Because not a lot of people know that clean draft lines make a big difference. That's why I push my pour of Guinness at Proper Hop a lot because for Guinness, it's about draft line maintenance and cleanliness, and then pour technique to pour a perfect Guinness.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's been a fun 4.5 years.
So I know before you and I have talked about it, but talk about your past. You were in a whole different world, and this passion turned into now what your full-time job is.
Yeah. So I spent about a decade in logistics and supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in 2015. I realized I liked beer. You know, I was always just a light American beer drinker, whether it was Bud Light, Coors Light, whatever, pool beer.
Yep.
And I was at a buddy's apartment across the hall from me. I was living down in the Buckhead area at the time, and I'm across the hall. I remember this vividly. It was Kentucky Derby Day, and all he has in his refrigerator is Sweetwater IPA.
Yeah.
All right, Yellow Label OG Sweetwater
Whoa.
IPA. And I had some IPAs, and at that point I was like, I don't like those, you know. But this was back when I was a little bit younger, and I think it was mostly like Dogfish, like 90 minute, and I was like, it was too much for me, too hoppy for me at the time.
Yeah,
so I'm drinking Sweetwater OG IPA. I'm going, man, I actually like, I'm drinking out of the bottle. Man, I really like this. This is good. So that kind of set in motion the summer of, and this is how like a lot of people who get into craft beer, they start with IPAs. So this kind of went into the summer of IPAs. That was my summer of 2015. I would go up to the package store up the street, and I'd be like, and they had a really good beer selection. So I went, hey guys, all right, what do I do? What are the IPAs? What are like my easy drinkers for the pool? They're like, all right, so get this. So like one of the originals for me was like Wild Heaven emergency drinking beer, that yellow label. That he's like, this is just a good, it says like all purpose blend on the can, but like this is a good, just good solid beer to drink. And then I would get, the IPAs, and I was tracking down all the local IPAs throughout that summer. And then it just kind of, and then the next couple of years go by, I get into home brewing in 2018, and then I got into beer history. And I'm just this is just all self-study. And I got so into beer there. So actually with my ex-wife, we moved up to her hometown in Iowa. And there was a big brewery up there called Toppling Goliath. And Toppling Goliath, they're really well known now. I actually sell a lot of their beer down at Proper Hop.
Oh, wow.
And it's just funny. The other day, my old boss from Toppling Goliath, I walk up the stairs at Proper Hop, and he's standing in the middle of my tap room.
No way.
Here. He was there with a rep, and he didn't even know it was my place.
Oh, no way.
So it was really cool. So I got to catch up. I hadn't seen him in about 7 years. So moved up to Iowa, northeastern Iowa for a year, and I cut my teeth at Toppling Goliath, and this is where I studied a lot of, there's a program called Cicerone. It's basically like a sommelier program for beer. No, I'm not Cicerone certified, but I've done a lot of the study, and I started a beer education program up at Toppling Goliath that they're still doing today. At least last time I kind of checked in on their Instagram. I became one of the taproom managers. Along with being a bartender, and just kept falling more and more in love with craft beer, with high quality beer. So after about a year up in Iowa, I realized it's a little too cold. You're still getting snows in like late April. So
decided still chattering.
Let's go back to Atlanta.
You're over it. Yeah.
So
a little humidity. Let's do that.
So went back to Atlanta. I went right back into my job in supply chain, actually for the same company. Wow. This is why you don't burn bridges.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I went back to the same job, and I did that for about another 2.5 years. But before I left Iowa, she knows I'm a dates person. So I remembered like dates that are all in my head. So this is May 9th of 2019. And I write down this before I left Iowa, a few months before I left Iowa. It's May 9th, 2019. I'm writing down this list of, it's not a business plan, but it's like an idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like, what would I do if I had my own little beer place? And that kind of became my dream. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I'm not independently wealthy.
Sure.
So how am I going to do it? So I go back. So I write this plan out. I move back to Georgia. Pandemic comes around, early 2020, and we all went insane. No,
we did. We saw insane.
So I'm getting, so it's funny with that logistics industry. It's like there was nothing for a few months where I'm just like twiddling my thumbs at home to just absolute chaos.
Right.
Everything's a fire. I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore. So I'm trying to figure out what's my life change going to be. And my dream was still, man, it'd be so cool if I could have my own beer place, if I could figure this out. And 2 years to the day after I wrote out that little idea plan in Iowa, I incorporated my LLC. This was May 9th, 2021. I incorporated Street Dog Brews LLC, which is my Proper Hop, true business name. And I Street Dog after just my little adopted dogs.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
So
that's
awesome. I'm into like really scruffy little street dogs. It's my style of dog. But and then just said go. May 9th of 2021 got opened. December 21st, 2021, after just an aggressive approach to opening up a business. But I was determined, and I wanted I'm a corporate refugee. I wanted to get out of that world. I wanted to be my own boss. But it's super cool being able to, tap into something you have a lot of knowledge about and make a living off of it. So that's been pretty awesome. Being able to do that. And I drew so much from what I learned up at Toppling Goliath, how to put together a bar, like a beer bar, basically.
Yeah.
So how to design the bar and maintain the draft lines, and just I had this idea of just this place that focuses. I mean, yeah, obviously it originally focuses on beer, but I have always said from the beginning I wanted to be more about the people.
Yeah, right.
And just community, man.
Yeah,
and I had this like vision of people hanging out at the bar and becoming friends, and we're interacting with them as well.
Right.
And man, that's exactly what it is. I have had so many people become friends. We have such an amazing group of regulars. I mean, there are times where I know the first name of 90% of people in that building.
Yeah.
It's a gathering spot.
It's a gathering spot. It's literally like Cheers. I mean, this is what people call it. I've had people get engaged in that building. I've had weddings in that building.
See?
I know.
We did.
She found me in that building.
Yes,
that's where we met.
I want to know about that. That's how y'all actually met at Proper Hop.
We met at Proper Hop.
So
how about that?
it was. I'll tell you really quick. I was actually on a Bumble date. Like I moved here. I didn't know anybody.
Okay.
And I was trying to naturally meet someone. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And so my friend convinced me to join Bumble. So I was like, all right, God, I'll do this.
Talk to me.
3 things, please. Make this quick, make this painless. And I'd rather have somebody vetted.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how you're going to do this. But but I went on a Bumble date, and immediately he had me park right behind Proper Hop.
Okay.
And we went on a hike. And I knew right then, I was like, this is not my guy, but maybe I'll make a friend out of it. So we went on the hike. And then afterwards, he's like, you want to go to Proper Hop for a drink? And I was like, sure. And when I walked in there and I saw him, I was like, oh, now
that could be my guy.
I don't know if he's
that guy's more my style.
But he's more my style. And it's funny though, because, I've been in the wrestling world for a long time.
Yes, you have.
And he used to wrestle.
Yeah.
He wrestled for 10 years. So he came up and I introduced myself, and he started talking to me. And then we found out that his tag team partner is somebody that I've worked with for 15 years, his old tag team partner. So, which is great. Like you fast forward to when I saw Xavier, was his name. When I saw Xavier, he was like, oh my gosh, you met my boy Patrick. He's awesome. He's great. There's the vetted part.
There you go.
Right?
Make me look good.
And then we took a picture together that day.
Yes.
And he forwarded it to Xavier, and he said, hey, she's going to see you next Monday. Tell her we look good together. And so he told me that Monday, he's like, hey, you guys look really good together.
Did you get the picture the same day as the date, the Bumble date?
No, I didn't.
Dang it,
Oh,
okay,
yeah. We took the same day. Oh, yeah.
So
The Bumble guy is the one that took our picture.
Oh, that's savage.
I hope you invited him to a wedding.
No, look, I don't feel sorry for him because he was he was inappropriate with me.
Oh, well.
Right. So you got the better end of the deal. Okay,
he had a thing or two to learn.
Oh, that's funny.
So I mean, obviously, Lilian Garcia walks into my bar and I tell her my wrestling story, my connection to pro wrestling, and if there's a chance, I'm gonna take my shot, and I did.
You did.
No, it was.
Well, you were respectful because you never asked for my number. He even said,
absolutely.
He told Patrick. He told Xavier. He's like, I would have asked for your number. I would have asked for her number, but that would have been inappropriate.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, and so that was good.
No,
he
makes
didn't.
sense.
He didn't. He just told Xavier, he's like, hey,
Who
tell us
is it? Yeah, clearly
if
you
there's
know
a chance.
We went on our first date and just were inseparable.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
But right? I mean,
when
now
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's the second go around. You go, wow.
Now I understand.
know when somebody's right.
So newly married.
Yes.
Newly.
But also, obviously, like you guys are rooting. I mean, like it's like, you're talking about, the love for the Roswell community and everything.
Yeah.
And that leads into really kind of where we're going next with this expansion. Because you don't do that unless you love a place and you're committed to your business.
Yeah.
So, we know Proper Hop for the actual tap room, but it's at this point, it's gone far beyond that. What does that expansion look like?
Yeah, the expansion has been fantastic. Not only the addition of whiskey to the menu, and I'm doing some draft cocktails as well, which have been fantastic.
House-made.
And been fun. And it's fun to do those and tap into another level of creativity. It's just a new skill set that I've learned to make these draft cocktails. So that's been really fun. And then redoing the downstairs area. Now the downstairs area, it was really it wasn't very decorated. It was overflow seating. I had a couple of dartboards down there. I've made about 5 people very sad that I don't have the dartboards anymore.
Oh, there you go. Right.
But I was like,
can't make them all.
But I was like,
Yeah.
eight seats in that spot make more money than
Yeah,
the
right.
dartboard.
Yeah.
But the downstairs it's really a very classy kind of speakeasy lounge. It is downstairs is 21 and up now and no pets, but upstairs remains, and we added seating upstairs. Upstairs remains classic Proper Hop, family friendly, dogs allowed. And then we have a ton of seating outside. We have about 50 more seats outside as well, which have been getting utilized quite a bit lately with this beautiful weather.
Well, look, and that's a good note too, because Roswell's extremely family friendly and pet friendly, but every once in a while you need to have your adult time. Like we get that,
and it was we thought it was a really good decision for the business to give people, because we do get a lot of young couples and dates coming in who want just the full adult experience, and you get that now, and you get the best of both worlds. And it's pretty fantastic when people go down there. People who have never been in there, like, this is amazing down here. Like, I actually just redid it a couple months ago.
Well, I want to hit on something too, because you guys are a tap house. You don't serve food on site, and obviously Roswell's known as a dining destination. But y'all do an amazing job with these pop-ups. I mean, we know you get Keenan Pit Barbecue, which is incredible. A number of others too. So we don't want our listeners and our viewers to think that just because you go to Proper Hop on the weekend, you're not going to have access to that
food.
Typically, you guys do a really good job of bringing those in and having those available.
And on top of that, when it comes to the food, since I've been open, I've always had this relationship with Moxie Burger. I have a QR code on every single table there, and you can scan your QR code, order from Moxie, put in a note that you're at Proper Hop, and they bring it over to you.
I love a Moxie burger.
We love a Moxie.
They're
burger.
awesome. Moxie's been great.
Their chicken sandwiches are
chicken
and you can also go to
great.
other places like there's pizza or whatever.
You can bring like a lot of people bring shout out to Pizzeria Luca. Over on the other side of Roswell Mill.
It's a good place.
I get a lot of their pizza that gets brought in. People go pick it up, and it's also you can bring in anything you want. But it's
top sellers. If I were coming in, maybe I'm from another town, haven't seen you before. You rotating a good bit. You got your traditional favorites.
So I've got nowadays I have about so it's a little different than it used to be. It used to be 20 beers and only 20 beers on tap. Now on tap, we've got it's like 14 beers, 4 draft cocktails, or I guess and then a cider. And I have root beer on tap.
There you go.
Beer's the big thing.
I put root beer on tap now. A fun thing we're doing with root beer, if you like whiskey and you like root beer, we're going to put it together.
There you go.
Had a customer just like, let's do this. So we call it the Black Magic.
Okay.
It's 2 ounces of Buffalo Trace, and then we top it with root beer.
Got it.
And I don't know why it had to be Buffalo Trace.
We're not skimping on the Buffalo Trace.
There's cheaper options, but hey, I'm not going to.
I was about to say,
cheaper option.
But so best sellers though, Guinness. I'm getting people now coming to Proper Hop going, I hear you have the best pour of Guinness around.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will put my pour of Guinness up against anybody.
Nice.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Love it. Okay.
But seriously, and like I was saying, it's about draft line cleanliness and pour technique. And then when I have a beer Maine Beer Company makes some fantastic beer from Freeport, Maine.
There you go.
Their beer called Lunch. I have that on tap pretty often. I think recently they've cut back a little bit on distribution, but when that's on, that is the top seller.
Is it really? Okay.
And then my discount beer, Monday Night 404 Lager.
Okay.
I have a great relationship with Monday Night. Those guys are awesome. I have that beer on all the time. That's my $5 pour.
Okay.
And I sell tons of that as well.
Good to know.
But I always have a fantastic rotating. I have a couple faucets. They're called a Luker side pull faucet. They're Czech side pull faucets. So if you like beer, it just kind of makes you can control the amount of foam. You can control honestly how the beer tastes by controlling the foam. I could go way deep into this, I'm not going to. But I had a couple beers. I have Pilsner Urquell. I pour a lot of that. That's on all the time on one of the Lukers because that's my favorite beer of all time. So that beer's been around since 1842. It was the first Pilsner ever made.
Wow.
So Urkel is always on one of those side pull faucets, and then I have a rotating lager, whether it's a Pilsner, a Helles lager, on the other line, and that's also a top seller.
Yeah.
I leaned in. A lot of people lean deep into the IPAs, and I have like 4 IPAs at all times. I lean deep into the lagers, and love bringing unique, whether it's like lager, different types of lagers, Pilsner, Kolsch, which is technically a very light ale. But
well, that's good too, because we've got all these other craft breweries too that really lean into IPAs already enough as it is too. So having that kind of diverse mix,
and then with even with IPAs, I have a selection of right now. I have a selection of 30 different cans you can get as well.
Wow.
To either drink on premise or you can mix and match retail, take home.
Yeah.
And then I've got a nice little Belgian beer selection as well in bottles. So there's a lot to choose from at Proper Hop. We're trying to get you just set up kind of, and I have wine as well. So some people don't know that I have wine. I have wine. I have a pretty solid wine selection nowadays. It took a while for me to get there, but I figured it out.
Well, I love it though. It's like not everybody drinks beer, not everybody drinks wine, not everybody drinks liquor. So like the fact that you're able to like give somebody
and now
a
you
little
can
bit
get
of what they
root
want.
beer. I'll
be
there.
root beer. I want a root beer.
Well, you did an excellent job. I know it was a team effort, but in the decorating of that room, I'm telling you, I followed it like all the time.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
I give him a lot of props for looking at the space. I just said, because I knew that he wanted to have he was thinking of having a second place, like a jazz bar or something. And I went and checked that out with him. And I was like, you kind of already have the space for it. How about if just turn this into a speakeasy? And so I said, I have some ideas to make it more loungy and make it, change the vibe and all.
It's
and
cool.
he's like, go for it.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
which I think is great.
Yeah.
And again, I tell people all the time, we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, they want a second space or they want to do this. And I always say, I go you can't be in both places at once, right? And this is your babies.
Yeah.
And you get this way you're there. You can run down the steps and you're there versus being someplace else. And the other cool thing that you got going for you is if somebody wanted to come rent that place out and have a reception, a before the wedding,
birthday parties. There has been like adult birthday parties.
Yeah.
And
I go back to that, look, I'm on the other end of it. We just had our first grandbaby. So I'm all back into the kid mode. But when it's time to go to an all adult resort, I'm on all adult, right? And I'm just saying. And there's a reason I'm not taking my kids, my adult kids, or my grandkids. And I think that's okay. I really do. And I love the fact that you guys, like you've had weddings there, you said, engagements. We've got so many friends that live in the Mill Village and they walk up to your place and they talk about it all the time, which is great.
I know a lot of those folks back there.
You have.
They're great.
You've activated the square. You're part of the chemistry. We talk about Summit. We talk about Tipsy Tiger now.
Yeah.
All that is just activating. Because as I grew up in Roswell, that was Canton Street, right?
Yeah. That's what I hear.
It was. It was that.
Can't wait for it to get even more.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. I mean, we've seen growth, and I am so thankful and grateful that we are still here at Proper Hop. 4.5 years later. That's something to be said about that.
Something to be said.
I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that.
You need to be proud.
100%. And you got your local followers. You got your local customers.
Yeah.
For the viewers who maybe haven't experienced you yet or want to learn a little bit more, where can they go via social media, website to get more information?
Absolutely. Proper Hop Roswell on Instagram and then properhoptaphouse.com on the web.
That's awesome.
Everything, and Instagram's embedded into that. I would say for your most updated information, check out the website, check out Google. I keep Google very well updated, whether if I'm closed, like when we were out for our mini honeymoon the other week, I keep Google very updated. I did some limited hours just because I run a very tight staff. It's me, it's Jeremy, Lil helps.
Yeah.
So
we had to
dial it back a little bit. We just opened it up a little bit later, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay.
But check it out. Go to the website, go to Google, Instagram,
awesome.
Proper Hop Roswell on Instagram.
Perfect.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
That's part of the success, right?
Yeah.
And hands-on.
Yes.
And you never know when you're going to walk in a door and
Yep.
the next thing that happens.
I hear it's actually going around for people to start coming there to connect and make connections.
It might be the lucky spot.
It's a lucky spot.
Just sit the Bumble date out.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we always say it's a great day to do business in Roswell. It's a great day to have a brew.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for having us.